Hello and welcome to the Migraine Diaries, my week-by-week account of the making of my game Scotoma and the why. This episode I'm talking about the thorny issue of funding. Now this will be one of the most difficult areas to address. It's perfectly likely I will spend a large proportion of my time and effort trying to secure it in the long term. Could take months, perhaps years. It's a long haul. As someone untested with a game of even this size and scope, I may even have to get a producer on board to provide credibility for potential funders. There are a lot of unknowns. But let's start with where I am now. I've already said I want to have a very clear idea of what the game is and isn't, so that I can lead the team properly and stop outside influences sort of messing with it. That means I need a functional demo that shows off what I have in mind and will be the point at which I'll have the confidence to implement the rest of the project. It's the fully realised blueprint for the full game. That won't come for free, so up to that point I'll be basically doing it on my own ticket, on my own dollar. It's just how it has to be. So in the meantime, I'm doing a mix of freelance and regular work to fund periods of working purely on the game and to save up to pay people to work on it. None of this royalties once the game is earning nonsense. You work for me, you get paid. Once again, it's the way it has to be because I'm serious about this project. In the longer term, there are plenty of options to consider. There are arts grants, some governments run incubators for worthy projects, crowdfunding platforms, of course, private investors, publishers, even industry folk who have funding pots. It's all out there. Personally, I prefer to have some sort of grant funding or incubator that provides the bulk of the funding for the full game. Anything that provides creative autonomy fits the bill. I mean, crowdfunding would be great, but I don't really have the profile for it right now. And it's worth going into the fact that with private investment, sometimes the problem is that to a certain extent you're essentially inviting them into the design room, and I've seen it go both ways. Sometimes it's very useful to have that input, sometimes it can derail an entire project. It's basically a lottery, and that's the issue. You don't know who you're going to get. You can't predict how it'll go, and while I'm not averse to taking feedback, the final decision I want to be mine. This is not just any other project for me, it's highly personal. So to be as independent as possible is better. It's going to be pretty instructive, hopefully both for me and for you to report back on how this aspect pans out. I'm going to take my time to find the right choice. And we're done for this week. Thanks for joining me. Like, share and subscribe. I feel weird saying that, but I've said it anyway. Next week I'm going to hopefully get onto some proper updates, and fuck it, I hope you join me. I've seen it go both ways. Sometimes it's very useful to have that input. You little bugger. No, off the keyboard, brother. Sorry, dude. That's the ghost of the cat that used to live here. He's very friendly.